Now on Tuesday, a protest by a small group of Just Stop Oil activists slowed traffic in one part of central London, causing serious delays for motorists. In what is believed to be the first in a fortnight's worth of planned protests, about 12 climate change activists walked along the Strand carrying banners, slowing cars and buses. It comes as National Highways has granted an injunction by the High Court to try to prevent protests on the M25. Well, joining us now is Holland from Just Stop Oil, who you may have seen in news coverage recently after throwing soup over Van Gogh's sunflowers at the National Gallery in an act of protest. Welcome to you, Anna. Thanks for being on the programme. Reports that Just Stop Oil are planning more disruption in the run-up to Christmas. One of your co-activists said in the past few days that they are willing to go further than just throwing things at paintings. They're willing to slash some priceless works of art. Do you support that?
Well, hi Samantha, thank you so much for having me on. My name's Anna, I'm 20 years old and I'm an English student at university. And I really want to clarify to everyone listening to the show right now that all forms of disruption caused by Just Stop Oil could be stopped tomorrow if the government just met our demand of no new oil. It really is as simple as that.
Isn't that blackmail?
No, it's not blackmail. It's simply just saying that we have very simple demands, that British homes should be insulated, especially in this cost of living crisis, that public transport should be subsidised because it's affordable for everyone, and that the government should stop forcing through these over 100 new fossil fuel licences. These are simple demands that could be met tomorrow, but the government is refusing to for the sake of their own personal wealth.
You say it's for their own personal wealth. As you say, we're in a cost of living crisis. The government has tough decisions to make about where they spend money. And you have decisions to make about how you follow through on your protest to garner as much attention as you can. As I mentioned, you threw soup at a Van Gogh priceless painting. And we've seen some of your co-protesters now go to prison, face jail terms because of their actions. Many people will support your aims, but they may be put off by how you're going about it, by causing huge delays on the roads, putting people's lives at jeopardy when they can't get ambulances, when they can't get their loved ones to hospital. Are you worried at all that you're actually putting people off, that you're doing your campaign, your goals, some damage?
Well, Samantha, in a recent survey that was reported on by Novara Media, in fact, 21% of people actually support Just Stop Oil's methods. They support our use of civil resistance. And in contrast to that, only 25% of the UK public actually support Rishi Sunak, and he's in charge of making every single decision for the country. So are you going to bring him onto the show and ask him these same questions?
No, but we can certainly ask our politicians who are here with us. Stephen, how do you respond to what you've heard there from Anna? The government could put a stop to all of this now. They say their demands are simple.
Well, they could put a stop to it as well. They should not confuse attention with sympathy. And if only 21% support, that's not a great place to be starting. The government are, of course, doing a number of things in terms of the area. But what do you mean by not stopping? Are you stopping every petrol station tomorrow? What do you actually mean by that? The government is putting more money into insulation. We should be insulating more homes, and the government's doing that. And one of the things about this is that some of the government has already done, and we have done as a country, a huge move forward in renewable oils. Everybody's suggesting we take that further, and everybody's putting in place actions that we take that further. But the disruption being caused to the lives of Londoners, my constituents, and potentially endangering the lives is not going to invoke any sympathy with anyone.
Flo, do you have sympathy for the cause and for Anna and her cause?
I'm very frustrated to hear that sort of glossed over, the actually slow inaction by the government that I can see the environment, which is pushing people to go to these extreme lengths. And I don't agree with the tactics of criminal damage or stopping people get to hospitals, but I do understand the frustration about how far we're going. And it's taken these tactics to have this coverage. I was on the Environment Bill. The government could have done far more on air pollution, on stopping species extinction, on insulation houses, but that wasn't really covered. Okay. It's taken these protests to get this coverage, so you can see why they have these frustration. Labour has a green prosperity plan. We would have in action, it would stop these protests because we would immediately be talking about reducing exploration of oil, more onshore and on land wind, power, all of those things which we need to go further and faster, and the government is just going so slowly. It is leading to this frustration.
OK, let me just ask Anna about the new public order bill. The Prime Minister saying the police will have whatever powers required to crack down on disruptive protesters. As I mentioned, several of your fellow protesters have already been given jail terms. Are you worried about these new laws?
Well, I'd like to begin just by responding to something that Stephen said about the insulation of British homes. And yes, the government has promised to insulate British homes by the end of this decade. But in an analysis that was supplied to ITV News by National Energy Action, at the current rate of change, at the current rate the government is working to insulate those homes, you are going to miss that deadline by 150 years. So there's no amount of change to the law that can stop the urgency of the situation that we're in. We can't afford to be intimidated by changes in the law. And how can we respect the law of a government that themselves are criminal? Rishi Sunak has said that as we in Just Stop Oil have broken the law, we should then feel the full force of it. But it is Rishi Sunak and the Tory government who have broken the law by failing to meet their Paris Climate Agreement targets. Okay, that is breaking the law. So who is holding them to account?
OK, let's bring Stephen in. Let's bring Stephen in there and let him respond. Will history be on the side of these protesters when the reckoning comes?
Well, who knows? I mean, very people have said history is a long time. The key point is the government is doing things. The government is making progress. We are.
But it's not fast enough, is it?
Yeah. Well, but so we could. You know, what do we do? Change it tomorrow? I mean, there's a clear plan.
We did scrap the Green Homes Grant. Bring that back.
There is a clear plan to insulate. There's a clear plan in terms of more renewables. The government. We are already one of the largest transfer from fossil fuels to renewables in the developed world. We are moving. Everybody would accept everything in the past, but it's not going to happen tomorrow.
Okay. Anna, we must leave it there, but we do appreciate your time and you being with us, Anna Holland.
I really hope you see you soon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Anna.